Welcome back to the HMA Wrestling Show, which, believe it or not, is actually still a thing.
We're here.
We're here. Jude Swisher and Sam Herring are finally back for our 38th episode, and feels good. It feels good.
What a hiatus.
Jude,
Sam,
how's life? It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Dude, it's been so good. You know, we had a very long hiatus, and I know we probably did a couple podcasts after the wrestling season, but before the wrestling season, both Sam and I knew that, the home mat advantage, while it is a hobby and, something that we really enjoy doing, it can't come before our own wrestling or our own academics. So we had a conversation. We're like, let's just push HMA to the side for now so that we can, pursue our goals and, go home and bring home some hardware. So for the wrestling season, that was pretty much it. We just pushed it to the side. And then life really has not slowed down since Hershey and the state championships and all that. Both Sam and I were competing a lot of freestyle, leading up to the world team trials and just lots of competitions and stuff. And here coming up shortly, both Sam and I are gonna be competing under, in the Fargo Dome here in just 3 weeks. So, I mean, Sam, have I missed anything? That's pretty much.
You pretty much covered it all. It's just an important year for both of us. My first year in Pennsylvania, Jude really starting to break onto the scene and getting looked at by college coaches at decisions coming up for him. So it's an important year for both of us, and to take time to focus on our wrestling and focus on academics and the rest of our life was important for us. But we didn't forget about this. We just
I did. I forgot I even had a podcast.
Forgot it. We just wanted to put our focus into some other things. But like I said, we're glad to be back, and hopefully we can start producing content again, especially once we have Fargo, hopefully reach our goals there and then settle back for the rest of the summer.
Ain't no hopefully about it, Sam Herring. Ain't no hopefully about it.
Very true. Very true.
So also something I guess sort of topical, and with the new NIL transition from the NCAA, student athletes be making money, right?
It's a big deal.
Home mat advantage could potentially be, this is something we keep up with. This could be a good avenue into something like that. So Sam and I just both agree, life's has a little window open for us. Let's produce some content. Let's get some interviews, write an article, maybe scream at each other on the mic. Who knows? So
it's the most fun part of my life right here is screaming at you.
Well,
and second to that is making a pick against you and being right.
Those are bad feeling. So before we get started, I don't know if Sam wants to do this, but I told him we're doing it. So we're just going to do a quick little recap of who Sam Herring and Jude Swisher are. Some things have changed in our lives, some things haven't. But in case this is your first episode, I'll go first, right? So I'm Jude Swisher. I'm going to be a senior at Bellefonte Area High School here in Center, PA. I was born in Chicago, moved to Pennsylvania, when I was a very young kid, and basically grew up in State College my entire life. I was a huge Penn State wrestling fan. I I train at the M2 Training Center under David Taylor, who is the man. And I have 5 brothers and sisters. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Sam, am I missing anything? I like mowing lawns. Love Pokemon. Huge Pokemon guy.
You're missing a lot, but I don't think you really want to get into some of the stuff. So I am Sam Herring. I recently moved to Pennsylvania from Memphis, Tennessee, and I am going into 8th grade for Bishop McCourt out in Johnstown, and train with Young Guns, the Ranger Pride Wrestling Club, and train at the compound. I am the 6th of 7 children, so we have Jude beat by 1. But Jude is the oldest. I'm almost the youngest, so it makes for a good little older brother, little brother relationship. So we have known each other for, what is it, three years now? Getting close.
Up on 3 years, yeah.
And met through Twitter, ironically, and started this podcast without ever meeting each other. First time we met was when we covered the 2019 Final X, and we had a lot of fun there. That was a crazy year. We got to cover a couple events. We've gone to Who's Number One. Jude's gone to a bunch of Penn State duels, Big Tens. We were planning on going to the Olympic trials and NCAAs in 2020.
They took that from us.
They took it from us, and things have changed since then. But lots of things have happened. We were fortunate enough to win Journalist of the Year in 2020 from Win Magazine, and got to share that with each other. So, we've been through quite a journey, and it's not really, I don't think we're going to necessarily stop, maybe just a few breaks like we've had.
Well, you and I will stop being friends for sure. Like this.
Yeah, eventually.
That's gonna stop. I'll get to you. Podcast going. If the pay's good enough, I'll keep it going.
Right. I'll just scream at you for fun. That'll.
So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That's kind of our journey up till now. It's really been a fun process of understanding, a little bit about, there's stuff like you learn about being behind a microphone and running the background of a podcast, but also like some small business management, and dealing with sponsorships and just how to be professional about all this stuff, which ultimately I think is one of the biggest benefits, I'd say, of having a show like Home Ad Advantage is just the transition and like it's like a little window into the outside world, right? Like Sam and I are still kids. I'm 17, Sam's 14. When we started this, I was Sam's age, right? Like I was just about 15 years old, and
so young,
so immature. Jude had no idea what was coming for him, and I probably still don't. But that's the fun about this all, is that it's just a learning experience, and we're having a lot of fun while we're doing it.
I'll tell you what, though, this name, image, and likeness thing that we're getting excites me because of the brand we've already built. Right. So I think that's another thing that we've set ourselves up well for. By the time we get to college, hopefully things will be put in place for us that will be in our best interest. So this is paying off in a lot of different ways, and very happy that we've been able to do this.
I wonder if colleges will set up like alumni associations to help athletes get sponsored, like college athletes.
I think more than anything, the athletes need guidance for what to take, because it's really easy to get taken advantage of.
I understand. Well, remember, like, wasn't that what Oklahoma State did, is that they have already a program in place to like help students better understand like sponsorships and things like that.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think that is important, but I think that that will just be something that like coaches can use to their advantage. Like, hey, come to our school, take advantage of, here's a great scholarship package, here's great financial aid, here's an academic scholarship. But also in addition to that, like we can set you up with an alumni of YZ University who is willing to sponsor
and
an athlete if you're
and I hate name dropping here, but like for companies like Scrap Life who have an association with Penn State, and then Rudis with Ohio State, and those kind of connections, that is a big deal for a high-level recruit being like, hey, I go to Ohio State, and I have a really good chance of having Rudis on my back when I get there, or Scrap Penn State, or whatever the case may be. that's another thing that maybe it's a good thing as far as recruiting goes for those schools, and maybe it's a not so great for some of the smaller schools. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it
So
plays
here's
out.
something that I don't necessarily understand how this is going to shake out. But Sam, do you know if so? Penn State, for example, is the university itself is contracted through
Night.
Nike,
Right.
and Lehigh, for example, is contracted through Adidas, right? And so they have these long-standing school contracts. And do you think that any sort of sponsorship on a individual level with an athlete could potentially uh, overstep those boundaries? Like, are they obligated to, you know, wear Nike? Obviously, they have to wear the school um, distributed singlets,
Right.
competing. But like for shoes, for like off the mat stuff, do you think
Dude,
there'd
I have zero idea whatsoever. Like, I'm clueless. And the thing that worries me is that the schools have to approve every deal right now. As
yeah,
of right now, that's the rule. And say like Penn State's by Nike, Scrap Life comes to Shane Van Ness one day and says they want to sponsor him, and the school says no, we're not going to turn back on Nike, and so now Shane can't get these sponsorships, and maybe he wants to transfer, maybe he wants to do whatever. I just don't want that to get in the way.
I have a feeling that it's gonna take many years of like smoothing this whole process out. Again, this is all super new. A lot of this is just speculation on our part um, about the future. But like, I like to think that hopefully, like, we can just make it as seamless as possible for the athletes to transition into you know brand recognition and sponsorships. Like
Right.
as soon as you step foot on campus, I don't you know, granted, like when you're dealing with as big of an organization as Nike and Penn State University, like there's probably going to be a couple hurdles you have to jump over just to
Mhm.
make that happen. But you know, and it was like Ben Askren had said this on Flow Wrestling a couple days back. Is he had said something like how people are going to be upset because the rich schools are going to get richer, right? Like, you know, they're just going to have more access to sponsorship resources and things like that than a smaller school would. Um, but I don't think there's anything we can do about that, and I think because the playing field isn't necessarily equal, like maybe we should just try to just I don't know, streamline it, flatten the curve. I don't really know what the best course of action is there, but I know that was just an interesting point. That,
So we got a question here from YouTube that I'd like
yeah.
to pull up real quick. Will the other NCAA divisions D2 and D3 allow students to brand themselves?
Is that gonna Sam? Do you know the answer, or is this just gonna
No,
be something
no
guessing?
idea. What do you
Oh,
think?
I would guess probably further down the line.
But
Um,
it has to come at some point, especially in a sport like wrestling, where women's sports is all D2 and D3 right now, and men's sports is D1. You're going to get really into some muddy water if you say, yeah, the men can brand themselves, but the women can't. We don't
Sam,
we don't go there.
is in terms of scholarships for athletes, do D2 give any scholarships, or is it only D1? I
Not
know
sure.
D3
These are questions I don't know. We need somebody actually smart on this podcast, I
Yeah,
think.
we have a podcast. We know some stuff, but like if you're asking us these specific questions, probably not.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. So we're on the StreamYard right now, and it's just cool how like we started on Skype and then we went to Zoom, and now we're on this new fancy platform, and we can like
We
live
still,
stream to all these different places and bring comments and
yeah.
over. So like if you have a question you want us to answer, like put it on, we'll answer it.
How
So
about this one right here? What are you thinking? We got any interviews that you have in mind or would like to make happen? Oh, we might have lost Jude there for a second. Let's see if we can get him back in here. Well, I'll go ahead and answer that until we can get Mr. Swisher back. Um, an interview that I would like to make happen for now, before I get into high school where I'm a recruitable athlete, I would love to just talk to as many college coaches as possible, because, that's just an opportunity. There's some serious wisdom coming from those guys. So very highly looked at right now. I'd love to get some of those guys on, but really I haven't thought about it a whole lot. Really anybody that you guys want to have on, I would like to have on. And all right, we completely lost Jude here. We'll see if we can get him back in here, but until then, I'll talk by myself. So yeah, obviously big name guys that have wisdom. So Johnny DeJulius is a guy that maybe not a lot of people know him as well as like an AJ Ferrari, a Kyle Snyder, Jordan Burroughs, but that guy is one of the best interviews we've ever had on here, and some other people are starting to realize that. So it looks like Jude's power completely went out, so we might be here for a little break, and we'll get back with you in hopefully a short amount of time. But until then, enjoy the break, I guess. Alrighty, we're back here just for the time being. Hopefully Jude can get in here real quickly.
Hey, I'm back.
We did it.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if there's like someone tripped the breaker or what, but all of the power in my entire house went out. So sorry.
Doesn't
I'm back
stop us.
now.
He's back.
Great. Do we have? Where were we before we that all disappeared?
This was what we were about to answer here. Any interviews that you have in mind and would like to happen? I answered just for a sec and just said for now for myself that I can still talk to coaches for another year. I would like to do that.
It's ending.
And
Soon.
yeah, it's ending very soon, and I don't like that. But that's my answer, was that I'd like to talk to as many college coaches as possible. And Jude, who are you thinking? You can talk if you want for how long you want.
I'll say this: cooking in the stew, and that was just a joke. It was a studio joke, whatever. But I'd like to talk to Sonny Abe, who.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. So to my understanding, he was a Penn State grad. I think he was a national champ. I can look that up. Sanjiro Abe. There he is. Yeah. So he's the man, and he coached Vincenzo Joseph, who I know pretty well, and
for a little bit.
Yeah. So I would like to do a like Sonny, Chenzo, Jude Swisher collab podcast, because I think.
How about another one of Chenzo's coaches?
No, not happening. I don't think so. But we could do. I want to talk to Gilman. I'd love to talk to Gilman. I would love.
Abe roommates with Kerry Colat in college.
I would not be surprised. I think they were. I can Google all this stuff right now.
That would be wonderful. That would be a really good
interview.
Who else? I think Ryan Warner just interviewed him on Wrestling Changed My Life, but that's what we do in wrestling podcasts, is we interview people and talk about the same stuff.
We share guests and things like that.
So. No, but Sergey Beloglazov from Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That would be incredible.
That'd be a really good one. I would like to talk to Helen Maroulis. I think Helen would be great. Love to hear from Helen. I think it would be cool. Someone I think would be interesting to talk to. Maybe not for like a full length interview, but like definitely maybe even an article or something would be Kennedy Blades or Kylie Welker. Both who were young girls who were in the Olympic trial finals.
Right.
Both of that.
I don't think that one would be too hard to get.
Not at all. And then. If I were going to say one more interview, it would be one with Johnny DeJulius and Bryce Meredith again, because that's always super fun. And I would love to talk to Reed Humphrey.
If you told me that Home at Advantage was only allowed one more podcast, those would be the two guys I would have to get on.
Yeah, no, listen, all of our guests are really fantastic people. And that's what's so cool about the wrestling community, right? That we just can have really authentic, genuine, interesting conversations. And 100 people can have a podcast, and every single podcast is going to be different because these people are so interesting.
Exactly.
But man, Johnny and Bryce are that's a special sort of chemistry that you don't really get to come across that often.
Those dudes just got back from Egypt together. They're wild.
So yeah, I think we need to get on that. But
I'll finish it with this. The most important part about our interviews is what our listeners like. So if you guys have anybody in mind, please let us know. And if you have anybody that you think you could help us get in contact with, that's the hardest part of interviews, and we would love to help.
I can't tell you how many times I've been ghosted. I'm not gonna name drop, but
too many.
Hurts my feelings just a little bit when these
really not cool.
I've had people say hey, yeah, let's do this, and then just not text me back.
Let's jump around with some more of these questions here.
All right, I'm down.
So this is one that I think I want to hear your answer first, and then I'll go second, because it's a touchy little subject here.
Yeah. So my favorite gift.
No, I would love to say Melvin here, because Melvin is my favorite person on this planet, but I can't.
We have a nickname for Melvin, but I can't.
That was sarcastic.
I can't say it, dude.
Whatever you're about to say, I'm sure I agree with.
Yeah. Well, the joke has been that we call him Silver Medal Melvin. but not because he takes silver medals, but because it makes him very mad. So
things make him mad.
Yeah, okay. Eric and Mason, it's a tie, and Melvin, all three of them. I can't pick my favorite Gibson. They're all great. They're all great kids, great wrestlers.
I'm gonna go outside of the box here and say we're not limiting it to gender, and I'm gonna say Maria.
I'm taking Bryn, actually. Bryn Gibson.
Brennan?
Brennan, not Bryn.
That's Brennan Miller, though.
Oh.
Ooh, it's confusing.
This is a bummer. Okay, we'll go with Maria.
Maria's the answer. Delete bro, and we're good.
All right, great.
Damn.
Okay.
This one's gonna get fun.
Take it off. We can't answer that.
Head coach and 3 assistants.
Oh, Sam. No, I can't answer this question.
All right, give some coaches that you like and that you would.
David Taylor.
I like that. Okay, here's a question that would probably put less tension on it.
Okay.
You're starting a club. I give you 4 salaries that you can pay 4 coaches.
That's another mean one. Because I'm just gonna say the M2 training center staff, dude. Like
that's fair.
That like
okay. Then I tell you,
Eric, Mark,
people that have never coached you before.
Now that's a good question. I gotta put more thought into it. You go first, Sam.
All right. So I'll start because I would just go with my coaches too.
Yeah.
Thinking, I've heard so many good things about Mike Gray and how great he is from the corner. Brandon Slay, I think that would be incredible. Let's see. Now I can say Vincenzo, but you can't. I love Vincenzo Joseph. I should start simping for Stanford coaches.
Rob Cole,
Francois. I don't know. So many options.
Dude, you know who I'd pick?
Who would you pick?
I'd pick Cale Sanderson,
okay.
Terry Brands.
I think that's
Rob Cole, and then
you want Terry Brands and Cale Sanderson to work together.
Yeah, that's what no, that's it. I just want to put them all in a room and just see what happens.
Rob Cole would probably sit back and just watch and learn.
I got to get some who else gets fired up? Tom Ryan. Tom Ryan gets fired up sometimes.
Occasionally.
I think that would be a good time. Okay. I say we move on to the next question before I dig myself into a hole that I can't get out of.
That's a great idea, but I like digging you into holes. Do you want to explain what Ned Kaufman's talking about here?
Ned Kaufman.
What a guy.
The Ride Out podcast, which I think I'm making an appearance on here shortly, just said this isn't Google Classroom. No, it is not. It's not Google Classroom.
Good observation, Mr. Kaufman.
Maybe we should teach a class though, Sam.
What would we teach a class in?
Communications. I don't know. Podcasting.
No, we're horrible podcasters.
That's true. Maybe wrestling class.
Maybe wrestling. All right. Now this one, I am going to maybe hurt some feelings. Maybe not.
All right, Julius Grit. So Julius Grit asks, "What's you guys' opinion on the division of the NCAA in terms of competition level?" Well,
real quick, y'all is a great word. Can be used really, really easily.
It really consolidates.
Some people hate it. Such a great word.
I used to be a hater. Now I'm a believer. Y'all's the way. All the way.
Respect you. All right. Go ahead.
I don't think about this. And that's the truth. This isn't something I spend much time dwelling upon. I don't contemplate the divisions of NCAA in terms of competition level, because I think I'm pretty much taking it for granted that Division I's the highest level of competition and Division III is the lowest level of competition.
Right.
Not any hate towards Division III. Just that's the nature of the divisions of.
It's how the money spreads. It's how the companies go.
It's the division.
Everything follows those order. Yeah, that order.
I don't know, Sam. Am I wrong for that? But
I don't think so. So when you take it out of the college realm and you look at high school kids, the best high school kids of every class, where do they all go? Division I. Then you take it out of college and you look beyond that and you look at our Olympic team. You've got Gilman, you've got J.O., you've got Kyle Dake, David Taylor, Snyder, and Gable, all of which D1.
Yeah.
It's just those numbers are there for a reason. There's more money in D1, more coaching, everything, more resources, more coverage. Everything just goes by that order, sadly. And I say sadly for some people, happily for others. When you dream, like for Jude and I have dreams of wrestling at the Division I national championships, and I've never really thought about wrestling at the Division II national championships.
No. So I guess that's my answer. Julius, great. No hate, but
all right. Last one before we move on, start talking about a couple other topics here. If you could bring one high school wrestling athlete to your team, who would it be?
So I guess like selfishly, it'd probably be Nick Buzakis because, he's a very good wrestler and he's around my weight, and it'd be great to get me better at wrestling.
That's what I would answer, like with a guy around my weight too.
Yeah, right. You probably want the number one pound for pound guy at your weight, so then you can just learn from him, and then I'd be the number one pound for pound guy. So
I would bring Jude Swisher to Bishop McCourt.
I would pick Eric Gibson. That's who I would pick.
That is a great pick, but I'm not, because this is what would happen. You would pick Eric Gibson to come to Bellefonte, and I'd be like, no. And then I'd pick him back to McCourt.
No, you'd pick me to go there, and then Eric would be stuck at Bellefonte.
Oh. You'd be careful saying stuck at Bellefonte.
I mean,
you're going to get yourself in trouble.
He gets to go to Bellefonte. He has he's blessed enough to go to Bellefonte.
There you go.
Okay.
I would probably end up taking like somebody
off the screen
for me. Okay, fine. Okay. All right. Jude, since our last podcast, we have missed NCAAs, Olympic trials, lots of things. Let's talk about our Olympic team.
Okay.
How do you feel about it?
I feel sad that Jordan Oliver is not going to be competing at the Olympics. I don't think. Do we still consider him to be on the Olympic team?
On the Olympic team, not an Olympian.
Okay, fair. He is our Olympic
trials champion.
Yeah, he's the trials champ, but I don't think he's definitely not an Olympian. I feel probably the most confident about this team that I have felt about any team ever leading up to it. It's just hammer after hammer after hammer. And to my understanding, like, we're gonna be the favorites in a couple weights. We're gonna be, really high contenders in a couple weights. And hopefully we can come home and just bring all sorts of hardware back to the USA. I like Thomas Gilman's chances of medaling. I really like. I'm gonna pick Dake and David and Kyle Snyder and Gable to all bring gold. I think that
definitely have the potential for it.
They all have the potential.
So the guys all the way up until Gable, this is his first ever showing on the senior level at a World Olympic Championships, right? But we know he has the potential to do it. And then Gilman has taken second before, so we know he's on that level. And the rest have won world golds and Olympic golds. So there is no reason that we cannot bring back 5 golds.
Of course not. And I had asked this to you before the podcast started, but we don't even really. I don't know what the record is for an Olympic team, like how many medals one has brought back. So maybe we can set a record. I don't know. Maybe I'll just Google it right now.
Jude, so who do you think, out of every weight, what wrestler from another country is going to bring the most difficulty for us to bring back 5? Who's the best chance to ruin it?
Sajalayev, Yazdani.
No, we know those guys. I'm telling you to pick one. Who has the most likely to ruin it?
Who is our world champ at 57 last year?
Last year was Goyev from Russia.
Yeah, that's probably a Goyev. Like, 57 is just super deep.
It is incredible.
Someone's going to have to beat some monsters to bring home the gold medal. I think he has all of the talent and all of the ability. It's just going to be about, like, executing it on that one day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about you, Sam? What do you think? Do you think that that's a fair assessment?
I do too. Yeah. I think one of Gilman's biggest issues is the Cuban and then Takahashi, if he's on that team. So if he can get by, like those guys are the bad matchups for him, and then obviously guys like a Goyev or, dude, honestly, Michich can get rough. So,
Feels bad. I really like Stepan Michich.
yeah, we're gonna interrupt this for selfish cause. Answer this real quick.
Not happening.
Okay. Moving on. Poor Eric.
All right. Let's see. But in terms of our Olympic team, like I've said, just the most confident I've ever felt about an Olympic team going into it. And that's the same on the girls and the Greco side as well. Sam, has it all been said? Is there anything else we have yet to say?
No, I'm with you, dude. I'm very confident. Now, granted, I really did not know much about the Olympics in 2016 or like our team or anything, but looking back and looking at our past teams and the competition and everything, I think this is the most confident that I would have been. But in the 2016 Olympics, I didn't even know what was going on. I saw Snyder wrestling in a restaurant, so I had no idea.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Some other big news. Stanford Wrestling has its program back. I know we're like literally months late to this, guys, but it was just so big and transitional that like we went from, it was just a downward spiral. Like there was no way it was gonna stay. Like it was looking very grim. And then Shane Griffith won NCAA's, and then here we go. It changed the course of like
that guy's a hero.
Hundreds of lives, right? Yeah, he's a hero. Like he's a hero of our sport. He's a hero of Stanford athletics. Like because of him and him winning, it just made this platform, for like all of this just like I don't want to say hate, but like social movement to like
it was
bring back Stanford wrestling, yeah. Right? There was some hate thrown, but no, it was actually a very cool thing to see, like to go from, just it was just going to be an uphill battle, like it was going to be a vertical climb, right? Like there was pretty much no way it was going to come back. The decision had pretty much already been made.
Well, I'll tell you what made me so angry was that they were basically there where it was a vertical climb. There was no way where this program was getting reinstated because of money. They didn't have the money, right? Or so they said. And then they're like, you know what? I think we might be able to do this. Here's your program back. Oh, also the highest paying coaching job in the nation. Here you go. Like, wait a second. I thought we didn't have the money.
Right.
It was a very sketchy little situation there, and frustrated me a lot. But I'm so glad that Stanford is and has a program again. And selfishly, for myself, that maybe one day that'll be an option for me.
It'll be a Stanford tree.
A Stanford tree. Go kart.
And it's in addition at Stanford, like they swept out the old coaching staff and reinstated. They instated Rob Cole and Vincenzo Joseph, Enoch Francois. So that is looking to be our new coaching staff. I don't know if they're looking to bring on any new assistant coaches or anything like that, but my understanding, like pretty much everyone on all of their starters, I believe, are coming back.
Shane Griffith has 3 more years, right?
Yeah. He's going to be at 74, dude. 74 is going to be a monster weight class.
Wow. Evan Wick said he's likely moving up too.
Oh no, dude! It's Carter Strachey, Shane Griffith, Kemmerer, Hayden Hidley. You said Evan Wick. Who else? There's Makai Lewis. That's like 6 guys who are like title contenders. Insane.
That's insane.
That is. It might be it.
It'll go down as one of the toughest weights ever.
Ever. It's got to be one of the toughest weights ever. It's going to be pushing that 2008 149 bracket for sure.
For sure.
So I'm excited for that. But let's see. I mean, I don't really know if there's any other news in terms of Stanford. I know like their program's fully funded, and their coaches are now looking to make careers out of Stanford wrestling, and the program's in a good space right now, especially
The
with
next step is an RTC.
Yeah, to my understanding, they're going to be just revamping and reorganizing the California RTC, and just getting guys to come in and train there.
Maybe that'll be a step to help Fresno get their program back too.
Yeah, I think it's just a great move for wrestling, because it's just like that ESPN, the attention that was put on Stanford it just has put it in a very good place, leading into the future. So,
all right.
The only thing that Stanford is going to struggle with, I guess, in the coming years is probably just anything that they fell back on, for recruiting, because, I'm sure that they weren't really, getting too many people interested to come out to Stanford when
they
didn't have a program, right? So, so hopefully, they can just jump on back with that and keep pushing wrestling forward.
Mm-hmm.
But so let's see, Sam. I think
that about does it. I think that about does it with all the topics we wanted to cover today. Is there anything else you want to go into, or maybe set it up for next show?
Yeah. So something that I kind of want to do is that we did this podcast back in 2020, February of 2020, and they, Sam had asked for questions and send in your questions or whatever on Twitter, and I went and looked back at the questions. Some of them are super funny, because the way that they aged, it's cool to go back and look at them. So
right.
I don't know, Sam. Do you want to do this? We can save it for next time as well.
Let's save it for next time. I kind of want to prepare.
It's been 40 minutes.
We could prepare for these and have some.
Okay,
have some
I'm down.
good answers. All right. Well, until next time, thank you guys for coming back, and I'm so happy that I get to be recording again, and I think I'll get this podcast bug again, and we'll have a lot more content hopefully. So, until next time, guys.
Okay. Adios.